Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm very excited for this video because I'm going to be making miniature cakes and miniature desserts. Now I did buy this Klutz mini bake shop kit to help me with this project, but I'm not really going to be following it exactly as it's written. I'm mainly just interested in the tips, the tricks, the secrets that are inside the book, and using the materials that are included to have a good starting point. But I knew that the clay that was included wasn't going to be enough and they weren't going to have enough colors, so I decided to buy my own clay, air dry clay. And so I ordered some extra air dry clay to go along with this clay that was brought in the book and the kit, just to make sure that I had enough colors, especially because I noticed that this kit didn't bring blue, and blue is one of my favorite colors. And so with the extra clay came some extra clay tools, and I got some parchment paper to work on, even though I ended up ditching it later. The kit came with these styrofoam cylinders of different shapes to do different cakes, a 3-tier, a 2-tier, and a 1-tier cake. It brought this glaze and glue mixture, which I was very doubtful was going to work, but to my surprise it does. These really cheap and disformed cupcake liners, some glitter and some sprinkles that looked okay. I'm not a big fan of glitter. Some pie or pizza styrofoam pieces, another clay tool, and a cylinder rolling pin tool thing. Also with the kit came these paper cutouts that you can use to decorate your desserts, and little plates to go with them, some little black eyes. There were also some red cheeks and some pearls. And then it also came with this really cute pink dessert box. And also there was a cake stand in there as well, which I actually really liked. And although I thought this was going to be easy, I struggled a lot to make this cardboard box thing. I was nervous to start actually making the desserts, so I thought that starting with the box would be a good idea, but I actually struggled a lot with the box in itself, so it didn't really give me much hope continuing on. I also struggled with the simple cake stand, which was literally just putting 2 pieces in together and then setting the top on it, but I still took a long time struggling with it. But eventually I did manage to assemble both the box and the stand, and I got started making the desserts. So the book recommends to start with donuts. Apparently they're supposed to be the easy thing, and I thought they were going to be the easy thing because it's just a blob with some frosting on it and that's it. But I don't know if it was the clay that was with the kit. I tried it with the clay that I bought and it also had similar results. But for the life of me, I couldn't get the clay to work. When I was trying to make the center hole inside the donut, it just completely ruined and it just looked terrible. And I honestly lost count of how many times I tried making a nice looking donut, but eventually I gave up and I just stuck with these 2 that I made and decided to move on to the frosting, which also had similar issues with putting the hole in the frosting to match with the donut. And I tried using all the tips and tricks and the secrets that were in the book to help, but they didn't really help that much for this. And so I was losing hope very quickly because I was spending way too many hours on just making these simple donuts. And if the simplest thing wasn't working out well, I did not have high hopes for the bigger projects like the 3-tiered cake. But eventually I did manage to make 2 donuts, one with the traditional hole in the center and one without a hole because I was just too tired with putting up with it. And I added some of the glue and glaze mixture on top. I wasn't really sure it was going to work, but to my surprise it proved me wrong and it worked really well. And so I added sprinkles to one of the donuts and glitter to the other donut. I'm not a big fan of glitter. I didn't really like the glitter, but I wanted to see how it would look and kind of just test out all the materials that were given. The sprinkles were okay. I didn't really like the color choices, but it was okay. I wasn't going to be too picky at this point. Although I will say that the containers for the sprinkles and glitter were terrible. I struggled so much to get anything out of them, and I ended up making a big mess. But moving on from the donuts, I decided to go on to the cupcakes. You know, the cupcakes looked really cute. They looked simple, you know, just 2 blobs together and make a face if you want. I thought it would be easy. I thought that the cupcake bottom, the actual like pastry part of the cupcake, didn't have to come out perfectly since, you know, it can go behind the cupcake liner. Everything would be good. But not to my surprise, the cupcake liners did not work. I don't know if it's because they were made out of paper or just how they were packaged, but they did not hold their shape or hold their form. And I just decided to not use them. I ended up keeping them just because I tend to hoard things, but honestly I probably never will use them, just because I feel like the cupcake looks a lot better with just like the lines in the clay instead of just the cupcake liner that won't even fit straight onto the cupcake. But speaking of the clay that I'm using, this is just regular air dry clay, which was something I liked because I just had to wait 24 hours and it was set, it was dry. I didn't have to put it in the oven or anything. And I decided to just go with 1 cupcake because I was tired with these cupcake liners and didn't want to deal with it. And so I just went with a simple white frosting cupcake. And so at this point I had tried doing almost everything in the book, really, and none of it was working out. I got so tired and so frustrated, I decided to just skip everything and go on to the cakes. Everything else is supposed to be easier than the cakes, and seeing as I failed at everything else, I decided to go for the hardest thing and went on to the cakes. Now, the cakes seem like a simple process. You just put the clay or frosting all the way around the styrofoam molds and that's it. But you have to go through a big process of like smoothing the edges, and if you look closely at my cakes, they are not smooth at all. And I took way too many hours just to make 3 cakes. I made one layered cake, 1 2-tiered cake, and 1 3-tiered cake. And honestly, only one of those I actually ended up liking. And I'm not going to show the full process of me making all 3 of them because that would be extremely boring to watch, because it's literally the same thing for each one, just a change in color. I was most excited to do the cakes, and honestly I'm kind of sad that the 3 cakes that I made didn't turn out as well as I wanted them to. My favorite is a 2-tiered cake, which I ended up trying to do like a rainbow design, which is what I'm rolling out here now, just trying to make a rainbow frosting pattern. But in my attempt, I ended up creating a 3-tiered disaster cake, and at this point I was left with a bunch of clay left that I didn't use, a bunch of materials and things I didn't use. I didn't make a single pie or anything like that. But at this point I was done. I didn't want to do any more. But I decided I would save all these things because who knows, I might come again another day, another video to do something more. But let's focus on the clay pieces that at this point are fully dried and hardened, starting off with the 2 donuts, which, you know, from afar they don't look that bad. They're okay. I gave one of them a face, and then I also gave this cupcake a face and a mustache and a little strawberry on top with some sprinkles, you know, just to make him a little more interesting than just the white frosting. I have to say, I think the mustache looks really good on him. And then I also made this little blob cake pop thing with 2 different faces and expressions. And then this is the 1-tier cake that I did, which I ended up going super extra with all of the paper cutouts and the pearls, just to like hide all of the messy and uneven spots of the cake. I tried to make a rose, which took forever, and I only made 1. And then this is the 3-tier disaster cake, where I tried making a rainbow, but I mixed it too much and it all just got all mixed together and all muddy, and so I decided to cover it with more paper cutouts, trying to hide all of the messy ugliness. And now for the only thing I actually liked that I made is this 2-tiered rainbow cake. I put it on the stand that I also really liked. I put a little paper cutout with a heart and doves on it that I thought were really cute. Some pink flowers that remind me of sakura flowers. But overall, I did have fun. It was a little frustrating. There were little problems, but I did have fun. And I did enjoy this process. And who knows, I might come back another time to do it again. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and God bless you.